Hey guys, I'm Tejas, and today I'm going to show you how you can color grade your photos inside of both Lightroom and Photoshop. Let's start off with Photoshop. So there's basically two ways of color grading your images in Photoshop. You can either use the camera raw filter or you can use adjustment layers. Let's start off with the camera raw filter. So if you open up this camera raw filter right here, you get these options or these sliders, I should say, and you can sort of move them around to adjust temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, all these different things, and you can just choose values that work right for your image. I personally don't like the camera raw filter a lot because you can't just go back to the camera raw filter and then edit your adjustments again, which is why I like using adjustment layers, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So I'm just going to cancel this effect right here. So this is our image right here. It's pretty flat, and now we want to make it look good. This levels one is actually pretty useful. So you can click here and drag it to the right to make the shadows darker, or you can click here and drag this to the left to make the highlights brighter. So you can make the shadows darker, make the highlights brighter, add some contrast into your image. Or you can click on this midtones one, and if you drag it to the right, it makes the midtones darker. If you drag it to the left, it makes the midtones brighter. I'm just going to change it back to 1 to make it normal again, right? If you click here and drag this to the right, it makes the shadows lighter. And if you click here and you drag this to the left, it makes the highlights darker. So this can be really useful if you want to say, add some contrast into your image. I'm going to add some contrast because this image is really flat. Now let's talk about this curves adjustment layer. This one is actually pretty cool. Okay, so let's start off with the curves. So you can use this to adjust your shadows and your highlights and your midtones and stuff. Now you can also adjust individual channels of color, so blue, green, and red. So if I go to blue right here and say I want a little bit of blue in the shadows, and say I want to decrease the blues in the highlights, I can do that using this. So as you can see, the curves adjustment layer has made quite a bit of a difference. Now let's talk about this exposure one. Over here you can make your image brighter or darker if it's underexposed or overexposed. In this case the exposure is fine, so I'm just gonna delete this adjustment layer. Vibrance, yeah. So in this case I'm just gonna increase the vibrance a bit to add a bit more life into my image. Over here I've increased the vibrance all the way to 100%. Most of the time increasing your vibrance all the way to 100% is gonna make your image look like crap, but in this case it actually looks pretty decent. Now hue/saturation, so you can use this to change the hue and increase the saturation of whichever hue you've chosen, and then the lightness or the darkness, whatever. I don't really use this ever. This is channel mixer thing, which you can use to decrease or increase red, greens, and blues, like the individual channels of colors. Again, in this case, not gonna use it. Now this color lookup adjustment layer lets you load a LUT file. Now let's move over to Lightroom. So I already have my image imported in Lightroom. So I'm just gonna double click on this image, go to develop, and as you can see, once again the image is super flat and we would just want to add a bit of life into it. The first thing I'm gonna do is go right here, increase the contrast. Next I'm gonna make the highlights brighter, the shadows deeper, and the blacks a bit deeper, and the whites a bit brighter. Now I'm gonna go to vibrance and add a bit of vibrance to here. Not too much. Let's talk about this curve. Make the shadows deeper to make the highlights brighter. I'm not really gonna change the curves much. Okay, so let's talk about this HSL one. You can use it to change the hue of individual colors, or you can change the saturation of individual colors. Now, basically that's it. Now, one thing you can do is click on this adjustment brush right here, and say I just want to change the color of the sky or something, or say I just want to adjust the color of the sky. Well, then I can select the entire sky right here, as you can see. And next I can start messing around with these sliders here. That's about it for this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys learned something.